I met someone somewhere out. I think I was checked out of the library because I don't have access to it in my front-facing daily me. And I was a lot younger. And he said he was from some band. And I'm like, I apologize. I was like, and he says, have you heard of us? And I was like, I'm really bad. I was like, if you're on the radio, maybe I have. I was like, I was like, and he's like, no. He says, I mean, we're big where we are, but we're not by where you are. And I'm like, oh, you know where I am? And he's like, yeah. Yeah. And then he said what the name of it is, right? It had something to do with what I was working, my project, what I was working on. Right. And then he's like, but you know what? He's like, actually, that makes more sense because, right. He says, because it wasn't sinking in wherever we were. And he was like, it might help you in the future in your project at some point, because they said sometimes things connect at different intervals or whatever. So that would be the R.E.M. Gentleman. But the way the sound goes is it's like at this juncture, in this junction box of like crossed wires and missed messages completely. I got Tia Frio, 1975, never wanted to fucking meet him. And I got Romer, 1976, never wanted to mix genetics or meet him either. And so it's like, R.E.M. like blasting on the radio today and like year 2020, wrong junction box, wrong direction, and everybody holding me to some I don't know what. And it says, the way you always say that I sound like a fool. The things you do, you're unbelievable. And then you hear like the guys in the background going, oh yeah, but you're sheer proof. SHEERPROOF. Is that like Talmud? TALMUDE. Like it's nude on the way in at the upper level of like when they talk, they sound like fools, but they know things because some point in time and space it makes sense. Right, yeah, I'm one of those gals for the guys. So what happened in actuality outside of that one gentleman not knowing who I actually belong to? But he said he's pretty sure that they know because they seem to know everything. And like, what's a nude? It's right. So now we'll go with Talmud because he's tall and he gets really angry when you say the word nude. So let's think about this. And then there's a cowbell in the background. It's like the holy cow, HOLYCOW. Yeah, it sure is. They're playing the cowboy. And that came out in like the 90s, I think early 90s, mid 90s, somewhere around there. And then somebody took a guitar solo. Whoa, it's like electric guitar. Who the fuck told you could play solo? Oh my God. Like nails on the chalkboard don't bother me. Like when you just take your nails and you put them down the chalkboard, the green one at the front end or the black one at the front end of the school. It's verde or noir. It's mensa, it's whatever. For me, it doesn't bother me. But I know other people, they're like, ah! Right. Yeah, see, that doesn't bother me. No idea why. That's advanced genetics. But the like screaming amperage guitar where they take an beautiful acoustic instrument that you can play anywhere, any venue, and sound like a real rock star and entertain a whole group of campers. And then you put some electricity into it and you plug it into a loudspeaker. Ah! And then you want to jam on the metal strings coming out of a metal amp at wattage and frequency and sound wave does not bode well for the bambini of the not humanness. That will never change. I don't like electric guitar, anything, even on the acoustic, when Jay would take the, what is it, this is Jason Romer, he'd take the abridged thing off, the capo, he called it, either CAPO or KAPO, I don't know, depending on, are you a Coptic calendar or are you Gregorial? Like, I get, she's Gregorious. Is that where that comes from? Gregorian? Is that my Gregorious? Like, who am I supposed to be mad at? Like, anybody? Like, I'm just hopping along like Bambi in the forest. Anybody want to get me my Coptic calendar fixed with my Gregorious self? And get me the husband I belong to instead of the fucking two shitbags I never wanted to fucking meet and you never wanted to hear about? Daily? Right. So let's think about this. So he put the capo on, and then he touched the metal, and the metal, if you're in the machine shop, its thread was where it spirals and cuts the thing, so there's spring in the actual like sheet metal that they thread, and then they cut it so it has spring and bounce to it, and it makes that whatever acoustic sound, right? Yeah, okay, I'm good with that, except if they cut the threads just wrong, which I've been there when they did that. As an example, it is like, oh my god, please don't touch the strings. Don't touch. I'm okay with the plastic cord. You can touch that all you want. It's when you touch the finger in between, as it rubs in between the tiny, minuscule, nano, like, whatever, infinitesimal, like, level cutting tool, as you go across that on metal, it leaves such a reverberation. It's the ressonance. It's a, oh my god. Oh, you want to talk about viral error codes coming through like advanced genome? Wow. I mean, even thinking about it, I'm like sending off sparks. All right, anyway, more important. So, I got the R.E.M. guy, I flew, I did one of my poofs into wherever he was, and then we had a conversation, but it was hard to hear him, because I don't know, was that Senor Frog's night? Maybe that was down in Mexico, in Cancun, in like 97, 98. Right, I think was that the foam party? I was there with Maria. You were there with Handsome Tall, like, gonna walk me home? Right, great, okay. So now, right, that happened, but it was hard to hear. I was like, R.E.M, a special project. I was like, a radio. I was like, I'm not a singer. I was like, I don't sing on the radio. Like, I mean, it was like, who's on first, what's on second? But I felt so bad, because I'm like, no, this guy's like trying to tell me something, and I'm trying to connect. Like, I know it's not you. I know it's me. I'm just trying to grapple whatever you're throwing at me. I know it's important. I'm trying to, like, catch it. I really am. But, like, it's almost like, yeah, like my gearbox is stripped. It's not like if I'm gonna break into a car in the 1970s or 80s, I take a screwdriver, I just throw it into the ignition thing and I turn it, right? And then off I go, right? Yeah, it wasn't doing that. I know. I mean, I was trying. I even had 5 fingers. I was like, come on, I want to understand, but it's just not calculating out right from calcaneus somewhere else.